Hey folks, welcome back to HUBR Beer Review. Today, we are going to go visit our friends at Evil Twin Brewing, and we're going to try their Molotov cocktail. It's a brewery based out of North Haven, Connecticut. Stick around.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. Back yet again to do that. This is the show that never ends because beer is always out there. I've got Andy in the attic. I've got Jay. I'm Ben. What are we drinking today?
We're going to have the Molotov cocktail from Evil Twin Brewing Company. Evil Twin Brewing Company?
Evil Twin Brewing.
Yeah. Another one of those 12%. And ironically, it is 12%, right? Andy will tell us all about it then.
Yeah. Jay and I just show up to drink.
This is a Tippa, 12% ABV.
Mine was extremely carbonated.
Yeah.
I like that color.
Well, there's a reason.
Oh, sorry. Got a little on the nose.
Yeah, you booped yourself. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers,
On the other side. Perhaps the color is due to it having mango and orange added to it. Perhaps.
As good of a guess as any. Huh?
Because of this, we've done an Evil Twin before in the past. We did the Make It Fruity Raspberry Concord Grape. And I recall looking on the website back then, and on this one, there wasn't a lot of information that they provide. So, before we get to the brewery, because they didn't say anything about this beer on it, Molotov cocktail with mango and orange added. That's it. It's triple IPA. So, I'm going to go over the name. We've all heard of Molotov cocktail. How did it come to be? And that was pretty fascinating. I was going to write it down, but Ben, you were like, "Oh, get in the digital age." So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to read digitally. So bear with me. For those unsure, the Molotov cocktail, or a Molotov cocktail, is a hand-thrown incendiary weapon consisting of a frangible, I've not used that word before in my life, frangible container filled with flammable substances and equipped with a fuse, typically a glass bottle filled with flammable liquid sealed with a cloth wick. In use, the fuse attached to the container is lit and the weapon is thrown, shattering on impact. This ignites the flammable substance contained in the bottle and spreads flames as the fuel burns. Now, they're usually, because of the ease of use, they're usually improvised weapons. So some countries will do an actual formal production line of them, but they're usually improvised by criminals, gangsters, rioters, football hooligans, urban guerrillas, terrorists, irregular soldiers, freedom fighters, and even regular soldiers. I like the description on that. The football hooligans.
Yes, that was the one I was laughing at.
Yeah. So where do they come from? I was really, I was like, where? I've heard it for all my life. Don't know it. Well, it was Finnish, and it was coined by the Finns during the Winter War in 1939. It was a pejorative reference to Soviet Foreign Minister something Molotov. His last name was Molotov. He was one of the architects of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact on the eve of World War II. So the name's origin came from the propaganda Molotov produced during the Winter War, mainly his declaration on Soviet state radio that incendiary bombing missions over Finland were actually, quote, airborne humanitarian food deliveries for their, quote, starving neighbors. So they were bombing them, and they were like, "Oh, we're just giving out food," you know.
Yeah.
So the Finns sarcastically dubbed the Soviet incendiary cluster bombs Molotov bread baskets, in reference to Molotov's propaganda broadcasts. So the handheld bottle fire bomb was developed to attack and destroy Soviet tanks. The Finns called it the Molotov cocktail, as a, quote, drink to go with his food parcels. So
There you go. That's interesting.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's something we all heard all of our lives.
Yeah.
Very familiar with
Where did
what
it come
is,
from?
but never, stopped.
I was actually thinking it was Israeli for the longest time. I don't know why. So
I knew it was so
but that
good.
name is a rather Russian name now. You know, after reading the history, I was like, oh yeah, that does sound right.
Yeah.
Well, to the brewing company, Evil Twin. Again, we've done this before, just one time. Jay, you did mention the North Haven, Connecticut, and I will get to that. But they are a small nano brewery that specialize in smoothie style sours, oak aged lagers, pastry seltzers, hazy and hoppy beers, and barrel aged stouts. This may sound familiar. They originated as a gypsy brewery in Copenhagen, Denmark, and then also gypsy worldwide. I think they had 10 other places that they did it. They did not open their first. They started as a gypsy brewery in Copenhagen in 2010. Did not start as until they opened their first brick and mortar place in 2019 in Ridgewood, New York, in the Queens borough of New York. And they opened the tap room later on after that in the year. They also have a tap room in the Dumbo region of Brooklyn. The owner had moved to New York City in 2012, and he's the reason they called it Evil Twin. He has an identical twin who is the brewer, who is another gypsy brewer too. He was mostly on the West Coast, and he did it worldwide. And if you remember, I believe he had his twin had the brewery that is in the Mets stadium. I mentioned that last time. So cool. There we are.
All right.
Drinking. So
they're part of that 12% collective too, aren't they? For the distribution.
Thank you for saying that. So the 12%, we've reviewed the Fat Orange Cat Brewing Company recently, and the 12% Beer Project is a collective that has multiple brewers that distribute through there, or that sell through there too.
Gotcha.
I had forgotten they had a brick and mortar. I thought that they were similar to, I think, Fat Orange Cat. Just they did all their distribution sales.
Fat Orange Cat actually did have a brick and mortar.
Did they?
And then they closed that and went strictly with 12%.
Strictly with 12%, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I had recalled, but I didn't remember that Evil Twin actually had a brick and mortar, so that's really cool.
So, and they may do both, but I didn't. So, yeah. So it's brewed by Evil Twin, distributed by 12%.
Yeah, I saw that on the can. That's what reminded me of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who brought this one? Who provided this one?
Angie did.
You?
Birmingham, when we were at Hop City. Ooh, jeez.
Don't want to say it.
It's been a minute.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did it have a...
Everybody's looking at the can, huh?
It's got a stamp on it.
No. It's not a date stamp, though, is it?
No.
No. Anyway. So does anybody have this one?
I have not.
All right. Jay, you know where we're going here. What do you think?
I do. I know exactly where we're going. You're going to make me review first. Um, I want so hard to like something like this. I love tippas and love the higher ABV things, as you guys know. Um, when you get to something that's 12%, it's really hard to balance that. And I think we get really spoiled with a lot of the beers and the breweries that we've had over the time. This one to me is really bitter and really boozy. And they talk about the what is it, blood orange and mango that they've mixed in, or tried to pull those notes through the hops.
Mango and orange.
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of that. There's just a whole lot of lingering bitter and uh, really, really on the boozy side for me. So uh, I'm gonna give it a 7. I like the name, like the concept, but it leaves a lot to be desired for me.
All right, Andy, what do you say?
I agree that it's got a lingering bitterness, and this feels like a tippa. This is it's got a heavy mouthfeel, which I mean, yeah, you've got 12%. You're going to feel, more than just a regular IPA. But how many doubles have we had? And they were like, oh, this doesn't feel anything like 8-9%. It feels much lighter. And I can get the mango and a little bit of the citrus with it. I'm kind of glad I've got another one to drink. And I can't remember if this was a 6-pack or not. I can't remember if it was 4 or 6, but
It's a 4-pack.
I like it.
You ain't gonna get in Alabama. You wouldn't get that as a 6-pack.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, not at 12%.
Weird rules. So I find it to be favorable. I'm giving it a 7.5. Can I have another one day?
All right. So for me, yes, the lingering bitter is definitely the predominant thing that I think we all three get. I think I like the flavor that I get before I get the bitter, because for me, I mean, I get, definitely kind of that sweet fruit flavor, that's orange and I don't know that I pick out mango so much, but it's, just a tropical orange flavor mixed with something, and mango is obviously it. Um, I don't know that I get this one as boozy so much for me. I was thinking that this one was not so boozy. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't feel like maybe an 8 or 9, but for me it doesn't feel like a 12, I guess is my point. So I took a couple big sips right at the beginning, and I was like, I need to slow down a little bit on this being 12. But I think the bitter, is what I like the least. So that's obviously going to affect my score. I think if it wasn't for the bitter, I mean, this one would be, probably an 8. Probably not an 8.5, but it will be maybe on a good day. But with that bitter, it's just so much of it, and it just lingers. Just makes me want to take the next sip and the next sip and the next sip. So I'm going to put it at a 7 just for the bitter itself. Just because, again, it's not what I particularly like in beer. So that is going to be a 7.2 for the Molotov cocktail from Evil Twin Brewing. Definitely one. It's a tippa, 12%. Definitely one if you've had. You need to let us know what you think about it down in the comments below. Definitely leave us some comments. And if you have any other beer from Evil Twin we need to check out, let us know that as well. We'll be on the lookout for it. Definitely appreciate you checking out this video. Be sure to like, subscribe. Cheers to that notification bell. We are working on a goal of 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you have made it this far and haven't subbed yet, what are you waiting for?
You preach it to the
Help us
choir.
out.
If they're looking at us and say 4 feet.
Yeah. Everybody that's making it this far is already subscribed.
Go tell your friends.
Yes.
No.
Just say it, yeah. We got other links down below. Our Hot Tub Beer Review merch, as Jay showing off there, our various social media platforms, our Hot Tub Beer Review Discord server. It's a chat room, and we chat and chat and chat. And we have some links for some glassware that we have purchased, and we show on the show here. So some links for that, so you can check all that out too. Hardware and software for the show production as well. With that, thanks for making it this far. Andy in the attic and Jay, I'm Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.